Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I have a Canvas Workspace video and it's all about precision placement using the X-Y axis feature only available in the download version of Canvas Workspace. So if you want to find out what it's all about and how you too can be placing your score lines in exactly the right spot, then stick with me and I'll show you how. Today I'm going to be discussing something that I frankly have not taken advantage of in the past, but lately when I've been working with some more 3D projects, I found that if I wanted to use score lines, one of the ways to make sure that I could position them exactly where I needed them was to take advantage of an element that is in the download version of Canvas Workspace. It's not available in the online version, and that is the X-Y axis, as you see here under Edit, the X and Y. It's also called the Cartesian plane. The X represents the width or the horizontal position, and the Y the height or the vertical position, because every shape or every element that you place on your artboard or your graph or your mat on this grid exists somewhere in that space. So for example, if I bring in a square here and I begin to move it along, you'll see, if you look at the X and Y position, exactly where it's sitting, right? If I bring in another shape, and I'll show you again, remember that when you bring in a shape, it always puts it over here in the corner. But what it's doing is it's bringing it precisely where the cutting area is. So the X and Y position of this square is not at 12 and 12, essentially, because the cutting area is not 12 by 12. It is less than that. The design area, however, is a 12 by 12 area. So that means that the 0 point is going to place it in that corner of this 12 by 12 grid, as you can see here. And if I bring it up here, you'll see that where the ruler is, if I just scroll that up, you'll see that is actually going right along that 0 line. And the same on this side as well. The 0 and 0 is the intersection of the X and the Y axis. As I said, I've not really paid a lot of attention to this. You don't see a great deal of talk about it, but I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who take full advantage of this function when it comes to placing score lines, especially, or even any element that you want to place exactly in a certain position on your mat. So let's take a look at the practical application. Let's take this first box here that we have, and let's make this a card. I'm going to take the aspect ratio off. I'm going to make it 8 inches wide and 4 inches high. Give it a little bit of color. I want to use this as an easel card. Now with an easel card, what you have to do is you have to score it in the middle. So whatever size you begin with, you find the middle point and place your score line down that middle point. Then you find the halfway point between the edge of your card and that score line. Now, if you're placing a score line, you could, for example, use your snap to grid, which will help you, but only to a certain extent as far as where you can place it. If you wanted to go, like, for example, this on a 1-inch score line, or position it 1 inch in or 1 inch to the left, to the right, or even down to 1/4 of an inch, you can make that move along at those increments. However, it's not going to be of much use to you if it's an odd number, right? So what I'm going to do is go back to here, and I'll show you how you can get that in the exact right position. But first, let's make this 4 inches high, and we'll make it a dash line. Let's take the third one there. And actually, I'm just going to make a few copies of this. Right. I can move those over to the side for the moment. There we are. So I want to start with my card here in the upper left corner. So that would be on a 0, 0 axis. Right. Now for the first score line, I can place that by selecting here on my XY axis, or of course the more traditional way to do it that most of us will be doing is to actually just highlight what we want to align and align it left, to the middle and to the center, or the horizontal and vertical is what you're doing. And that's fine as long as you're working with the middle point there. However, go back to our X and Y axis. We need to bring in another score line and place it between this edge and the middle score line. Now, because this is 8 inches, this was at 4 inches, so this needs to be at 2 inches. And to help us out, all we need to do is highlight that, place it on the y-axis, or the vertical, at 0, and the horizontal at 2. So we have our score lines exactly at 2 inches and 4 inches. So all you need to do is just highlight it and group it and move it wherever you like, and then you can send it to your machine to be cut out. So that's one use. Another is, let's take this and we'll turn this into a 6 by 6 box. Now we could be making the bottom of the box, we could be making the lid of the box. And let's say we want 1 inch sides. So if we want this to be precise, we bring it up to the 0 again, our starting point. And we can bring this first line here, I'll make that 6 inches. So there's our first score line, and we want it to be 1 inch from the edge. And we'll have it 1 inch from this side, 1 inch from this side, 1 inch from this side, and 1 inch from this side. So want to place that at 1, which puts it here on this grid line, and just move that out of the way for a moment, and then we want this one at 0. We'll put this back here to 0 and 0. So there is the score line exactly, precisely along that grid line, that 1 inch grid line. You can see it under there. All right. But let's say this is the lid, and I need my lid to be just a little bigger than my bottom. So it has to be anywhere from 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch larger. Now you could cut it larger, or you could just move the score lines along. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to now take that and move that back again. Place this back into the 0 position. And this time I'm going to have this 1/16 of an inch to the left of this 1 inch grid. So 1/16 of an inch as a decimal is 0.625. Okay, so that means if I place it, first of all, on the Y, because that's not going to change, it's still going to be 0. This is going to be 0.9375. It's going to round it to 0.94. If you look closely, you'll see it is now 1/16 of an inch from where the score line is now and where we had it before. So on the bottom of our box, we would score it here at the 1 inch, and the lid, we're going to score it here at the 0.94 inch. And the other thing we need to do is have a line at the top and the bottom, and of course over to the right as well. And I'm going to show you something now when it comes to making this horizontal line here. If I take this score line, I'm going to color it red, and I'll start zooming in a bit more. If I were to take that now and place it at 0 and 0, of course it's going to put it over in the corner, but I know that I need that horizontal, not vertical. So in most instances we would think, oh well, all I need to do is change the angle. So I change it 90 degrees, and there it is. However, you see where it's sitting now? Even though it says 0, 0 up here, it's over here. The reason is the software thinks that it's still in its original orientation, which was vertical. It does not recognize it as a horizontal path anymore. So that means we have to come in, we have to actually create a horizontal line, like so. Make a dash here. Change the color to red. Right, now I take that and highlight it. Go to the XY. As I start to move it, and as you can see, when you go up, it becomes a negative number. If you go down, it becomes a positive. If you go to the left of 0, it becomes a negative number. If you go to the right of 0, it's a positive number. Now we want to place this at 0. And at 0.9375, which is going to round it to 0.94. And we have, as you can see, these score lines are intersecting at the precise position of 0.94 inches. And we need to also do that for the other side, the right side and the bottom side. Now you can calculate that if you like, mathematically, or here's a little trick you can do. Highlight everything you see here, and now turn it 90 degrees, and it's over here now. Then you can go back and highlight one of the vertical lines, make that 6 inches, and we'll do like we did at the beginning. We'll place this at 0.9375 and at 0. And there it is. Actually, before I place that, to highlight all those, and I'll just flip it vertically. Then I can place this 0.9375 on 0. Except I got that backwards. 0.9375. There we go. Like so. So we have all 4 of our score lines. They are each 1/16 of an inch away from that grid. And we can just highlight the whole thing and then send it to be cut. You'll probably come up with other ideas on how you could take advantage of the XY axis function when it comes to placing objects exactly where you'd like them on your grid. Have a little play with X and Y. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel, and if you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so today. Remember to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos, and as always, please stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.